Hello everyone. We're going to be starting a live with Positive and Spirit Center very soon, just in 2 minutes. If anyone is joining today with us, so this video, if you're not, this video is going to be recorded, so you can watch it later. Hopefully someone joins us, but the important thing is that this talk is going to be available. So we're going to be starting in 1 minute now, 6:14. So we start every 6:15. Yes, and we are doing from home due to limitations of lockdown. Still, to make things a little bit more easier for those that as well can't go because of the existing limitations. So we have some people joining now. Welcome. I can't see who exactly is. If you want to post anything there, questions, please feel free. Because in a way, it's just one-way conversation here. So yeah, thank you. That means you can hear me. So doing from home, so there's a lot of noise maybe in the background of the kids and the family. Apologies in advance. So 6:15. So we will be starting now then. So again, thank you for joining those that are joining now and is live with Positive and Spirit Center. My name is Tarso dos Santos. I'm a worker here with the Spirit Center. So with this live, we're going to be covering the topics as we do every Saturday with the topics with Spiritism. Which it does come from. Oi, Cassia, hello. I extracted from the works from the Gospel According to Spiritism, the Book of Spirits, Heaven and Hell, from all the 4 books from Allan Kardec. So then, thank you, Steffi, for the message. So we will then ask a permission for our mentors and our spirit guides so we can start the live, and with their help can inspire us to understand. Hopefully this can reach everyone now, or can reach anyone later. They can watch the talk when they can. So the topic today is about building a new world. It's a quite intriguing, interesting, and challenging topic because it covers everything is around us, right? Building a new world. And it's amazing how many documentaries we can watch about what's happening around nature, about planet Earth. And we see, and from that perspective, but also from a Spiritism perspective, through our books, of the books codified by Allan Kardec, is that we see planet Earth. They always talked about times of transformation. So it's a moment for us to reflect about this time of transformation. And we reflect that we really need to change to help this time of transformation. It's no surprise that we, society, planet Earth, has been changing for all these years, hundreds of centuries, but it doesn't matter how hard the change is, we will keep evolving. We are evolving, and we're looking at, if you look at from a 10,000 feet perspective, we see all the changes, right? We come from the 1500s, just more close to us, 1500s, all the issues we had, diseases, and surviving through those times. And today we do encounter challenges that we will survive. We will confront them, and we resolve all these issues. So the change comes from a spiritual perspective and from an environmental point of perspective. So it's everything. It's from a personal point of view, a personal point of view, as well from a social point of view, society. So about focusing the good things we're doing right now, fraternity, changing, be more cautious about environment, but stopping the bad ones around damaging planet Earth, which is in acceleration from that perspective, and inequality, all these social issues. So building a new world, this idea, this topic that we want to talk today, is not about the Minecraft or the virtual worlds of Minecraft. If you are into games, or if you have kids, you understand Roblox. It's not about those virtual worlds. It's about reality around us, right? So with Spiritism, the reason I love Spiritism is about how do we put in practice everything we study, everything we think of religion in the context of Spiritism, from religion in practice in our lives. So, and the motivation to change this to our world, to a new world, and building a new world, is not the same as those from the 1500s, for example, from those explorers in the 1500s, where their motivation was based on the 3Gs. Gold, glory, and God. So their motivation, interesting, I read this in an article, which I can't give a reference now because I haven't took note, but it was talking about the 3Gs. Most of the explorers, their motivations were about gold, money, glory, and God. God by the wrong reasons, I'd say, excuse to conquer, to make conquests, and sometimes kill in the name of God. But today, our lives are different. We have evolved enough to know that we start analyzing these three things, that our lives are more important than just money. Money is part of our life. We need money to help each other, to build society, but it's not all about money, right? So we have that understanding. Glory, when you get old enough, we understand glory, it passes like a wind. Right, it's just momentary. And God, from our perspective, it's about a logical and loving God, right? So it's about God in the right way, looking at God as a logical. And can God be logical? Can explain God logically? Yes, from a Spiritism point of view, yes. So it's not about those old style of thinking of God, like with manipulation or politics, mixing God with politics or manipulation, or an old man with a beard. So it's about this loving and logical God that governs the universe. So we start looking at those points. We're thinking today. I think we can, maybe we can summarize. It was quite hard, but we can summarize the need for building a new world in three things: balance, peace, and happiness. That's what we're after to build this new world. So again, balance, and balance is so broad, right? So we're going to try to cover those. Peace and happiness. So when balance comes into mind, three things actually within balance comes: the mind, the body, and the spirit, right? So even an event in Melbourne here, that's where we live, it talks about the mind, the body, and spirit. So, and then it goes even further. That balance is actually, as we mentioned before, as I try to mention before, it's not just yourself in society, right? So it goes not just you, because if you're healthy, but society is sick, it will affect you, and everything's in balance again. Peace, I think peace comes with a sense of purpose and a journey. You have a journey, I have a journey, everyone has a journey, and you feel that journey when you live your life, and you feel peaceful when you're fulfilling that journey. And happiness comes with that fulfilling that journey, our mission, and it's related to us, related to society. And when you're looking at Earth today, so when you're looking at all these things, so how we can achieve a new world, and we have the right ingredients, all these ingredients, and we can put in this new world, right? So, and we start looking how we're doing today. It's amazing in terms of our body, right? So it's amazing how we are more cautious about what we eat, being healthier, and it's so small things. So it's all about our behavior. How we behave is impacting our world and impacts this new world. From a behavior of eating perspective, trying to reduce too high habits of eating meat and fish, overfishing. So in that perspective, we can give Earth a little bit more a time to breathe, because as we consume much meat, everybody knows we start consuming overfishing because to create demand. So, but also from a health perspective, we start impacting Earth. So, and you think about society and our government. If one part of the government of it doesn't work, the whole body government start to be unhealthy, sick. So it has to be with integrity. So we have to look after all the parts of a body from a society point of view. So integrity is a key word when you have integrity towards looking after our society. From a mind and soul perspective, and building awareness of these topics, which include faith, love, how our behavior impacts society is key. It's amazing now that how we evolving from those perspectives, being more aware, being more. We have lots of movies out there about the importance of knowing and have faith, but not faith from a religious point of view, more from a faith of doing the right thing, applying those faiths in our day-by-day lives. It's not a religious faith, but it translates into our acts. So it's not surprised that the world around us is a reflection of what we are. Our external world around us is a reflection of our inner world. So, and then we classify our inner world, how that is, right? So sometimes it's positiveness, sometimes negative, sometimes we are great, sometimes we are in lower bands. So we analyze when we are positiveness and faith brings change and brings courage and motivation to change it to help, right? So spirituality in terms equals faith and love. So as we say, not from a religious point of view, but from living this, believe that everything's going to be fine, which brings good things, even the worst situations of life. This perspective, positiveness, courage, will bring change. And interesting, when I wrote this, I can't even believe I wrote this, but I may read this sentence. And how does it change? How does it affect others? So I wrote this probably from inspiration, can't be from me, but it's the power of mind, the power of your soul irradiating in this cosmic ocean of vibrations. Sentiments, emotional states causing ripples of change and touching and transforming everything and everyone around us. So it is because how, I think this sentence I try to explain how our behavior affects others. Why you're so happy, it's contagious. That happiness, it makes other people change. And you see people that are very consistent from that perspective. On the other hand, negativeness and insecurity brings lack of impatience, irritability, bad mood, being selfish. And that word, selfishness, is that portion that the spirits, the books that are left by the Mingyas that wrote the codification, is selfishness is the worst. The problems that the world, the issues that we encounter around the world is related to selfishness. Because Kardec asked, what are the biggest impediment of humanity? And the spirits responded is selfishness, ego. Because that impacts everyone. So, and it causes detour in our lives. It causes bumps and accidents in my path from my evolution perspective. We stress our friends, we stress our family, we stress society. And sometimes we can blame everything is around us, the situations, isolation, epidemic, and money issues, job issues. Yes, all these impact us big time. But in reality, we need to find a way to be balanced even through these worst situations. And faith is part of this. And is it the inability, with my inability to deal with these issues, but it's opportunity for us to come into these terms and learn how we pass through these problems. And we are developing this field. So it is bringing these virtues within us. So, and we're looking from that side, so that negativity and that it becomes the insecurity, we react, when we have the insecurity inside, we all have, we behave like the perfectionist people. That the issue with perfectionism is that, is that we're not flexible. We want the way we want, and that stops us. And that fear inside us, that insecurity, because we want to have control, it stops us to be successful. Fear of failures stops us to be successful. Everything we do, and it stops our creativity, our courage to change, because we are afraid. It's interesting looking at an example, and I was looking for what the best example I could look, and I accidentally look at Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, the man who invented the lamp, right? The electricity lamp. And I was reading about it, and there is a famous interview, I didn't know, but it's very famous. A reporter was interviewing Thomas Edison, and he asked a question. Just to note, that was before he invented the lamp. So he was asking, so I was just reading his lack of results in relation to trying to create the battery. But Thomas Edison had hundreds and hundreds of inventions, I was reading. So the battery was one of them. And he failed like more than 1,000. I think there's different numbers that I couldn't get a cohesive number. But more than 1,000 times he failed with his experiments. And then Edison replied, results, to the reporter. Why? I got lots of results, plenty of results. I know several thousand things that don't work. And that's my way to make sure that things are going to work. So it's amazing how Thomas, he wasn't afraid of failure, and he kept going. Imagine if he had give any reason for what the reporter was saying, because the reporter was criticizing him for the lack of results, and he didn't care. Imagine that he wouldn't have created the lamp, and he would stop his creativity. So that's applied to us, right? Because if with that fear, we stop being creative. We accept everything the way things are. We accept of the big organizations are throwing at us and not questioning. We stop the courage to change the status quo and changing society. And we see the big changes that come with these people that they're brave and they're ready to change. So the change has to come from the world, creating this new world has to come from within us. And the inner reform, it has to be with courage and love, right? So, and how the interesting phrase from Chico Xavier, a great medium from the Spiritism movement in Brazil. He's already passed away, but he was one of the greatest mediums we had there in Brazil. And it's one book where he wrote through messages, and he wrote, wisdom and love are the two wings so the spirit can fly to the higher realms of divinity. So what's the idea is that it's not just about love, it's not about intelligence or wisdom, it has to be both intertwining, right? So even in love, so if you love a lot, so much, but you don't have the intelligence to bring in how to help without hurting, you have to apply both. So he's saying that we need both. And we have done so much with intelligence and wisdom. Well, maybe intelligence, not wisdom, but from a selfish way. So it's time for us to redirect this intelligence so we can drive society and drive our behavior for a better way. So, but from a natural resources point of view, creative ways for stopping hurting Earth, and education, evolving education from bringing a better way so kids can have at school, and we're already doing that from a more environmental perspective, have more conscience about the environment, and we're doing that, but being ethical as well. And I think there's a lot of points to improve that, being ethical, and that can maybe from the perspective we can help the economy in that way. Capitalism, we can have capitalism to be more ethical from that perspective, so more respectful, because everything we do from capitalism, the monopolism that's out there, so it doesn't hurt what's happening today with the big organizations, which is quite hard what's happening. So the other wing, from a loving perspective, from a sense of solidarity, fraternity and charity perspective. So that's the sense of love, the other wing. So we have two wings, we can evolve ourselves, and that's the aim. From Book of Heaven and Hell, from one the books from Allan Kardec, there's a great advice for us that we need nowadays is not only the development of our intelligence, but the elevation of our sentiments. And for this, we must do away from that incites, that doesn't incite our selfishness and pride. And we have yet to make charity, fraternity, and solidarity reign among us ourselves in order to assure our moral well-being and development. So what they're telling us that this is part of well-being, and that's the whole topic. Reason put this in the main piece is that we need balance, spirituality, happiness in our life so we can have the well-being. So, and then we need to pay attention what's happening around us from a society perspective, and our sense of responsibility from people around us, from people we see at school or kids' school, be more aware of people lonely with the situation of COVID. And that we start with our actions, because as those ripples of change, it starts with our action, and that will be contagious to everyone. And what the Spiritism brings to it is that point of faith, that we can use that faith in our day-by-day life, and this faith also in our eternal spirit, which every religion teaches. But from a perspective of reincarnation, it gives more understanding. Reincarnation, that is, we will die, we will come back in another body. And because of this reborn and death and reborn, there's never an end. But we are coming and transforming and evolving. And that's happening all the time. And that's part. So everyone around us, there's a reason of acts of today, but also from the past. So things that we can't understand, we can't explain today, have some relation to the past. And that could give us a little bit more patience of situations that we can't explain, we can't change. We need to try to change. We can't just get through the large door, but the narrow door. We need to change. But sometimes we just accept and love. So, and one of the spirits brought a very interesting thing I want to bring here as well, is that one thing that might seem strange to you, this spirit is talking to us right through a medium, but which nevertheless is strictly true, is that the spirit world that surrounds you feels the repercussions of all turmoil that disturbs the world of incarnates. I would even say that it plays an active part. this should come as no surprise to those who know that Spiritism make it part of humanity, that they come from humankind and must return to it. Consequently, it's natural that they would have an interest in the movements that occur among human beings. So we are interacting with the spiritual world all the time, and from a good and from a good perspective, mainly. And more importantly, with everything's happening today, through this transformation, even because of these COVID times, the losing loved ones, through the hard times of people that we love and we can't even see. But the hope comes with Spiritism is the faith, not just hope, faith that comes with Spiritism is these people that are going through the other side, they're being cared of by the good spirits, they are transforming, and they are the ones that are going to come back, they're going to reincarnate and transformed and being the heroes to transform this world because of this transformation. Right? I'm not saying COVID is a good thing. We didn't have to pass through this, but we'll be part of a transformation, and we will learn through this, as we learn through all these different situations that we go through. They are the heroes that are going to come back and transform this world along with us. Maybe this isn't going to happen in our life, but the process already started and it is continuing. And this is the biggest impact that's happening because of the COVID, but it will accelerate a transformation, respect of realization that what we need to change is within ourselves as well. And with faith and in God, that everything is going to be transformed and we're going to pass all these issues. So just to summarize, is that building a new world starts building inside of us, so we can send those ripples of change across everyone around you and everything. So thank you for listening. Thank you for staying with us for all this time. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Isabel, as well, for staying with us. So hopefully, and I'll leave it with you now. Okay, thank you.